Welcome to MGoTV1, where cinema history comes to life. Today, we're diving into the adrenaline-fueled world of 1980s action blockbusters, the decade that defined the modern action hero. The 80s action flick wasn't just about entertainment, it was about escapism, about pushing boundaries, about giving us heroes who stared down the impossible and came out on top. So buckle up, because we're about to go on a wild ride through 10 of the most iconic films that turned the 1980s into a powder keg of action cinema. Don't forget to subscribe and join the adventure. We begin with a film that's not just an action movie, but a meditation on the psychological toll of war. 1982's First Blood introduced us to Sylvester Stallone's John Rambo, an ex-Green Beret haunted by his past, pushed to his limits by a small-town sheriff. The action is raw, visceral, almost desperate. Rambo isn't some invincible killing machine. He's wounded, vulnerable, but incredibly resourceful and deadly when pushed. First Blood set the stage for a new kind of action hero, one grappling with inner demons while facing down external threats. Now, let's talk about a film that practically invented the modern action movie blueprint, Die Hard. 1988, Christmas time, and Bruce Willis delivers one of the most iconic performances in action movie history as John McClane. This isn't some muscle-bound superhero. McClane is vulnerable, he bleeds, he makes mistakes, but he never gives up. The cat-and-mouse game between McClane and Hans Gruber, played to perfection by Alan Rickman, elevates Die Hard beyond your typical action flick. 1984, James Cameron unleashes a new kind of fear with the Terminator. Arnold Schwarzenegger embodies an unstoppable cyborg assassin sent from the future, making the Terminator one of the most frightening villains ever put on screen. Linda Hamilton gives a star-making performance as Sarah Connor, transforming from an ordinary waitress into a hardened survivor. The Terminator isn't just about Schwarzenegger, it's about the relentless pursuit and the birth of one of cinema's most enduring heroines. Chapter 4. Lethal Weapon, The Birth of the Buddy Cop. Lethal Weapon, released in 1987, redefined the buddy cop genre by injecting it with a potent mix of action, humor, and heart. Mel Gibson and Danny Glover bring to life Riggs and Murtaugh, two cops with vastly different approaches to their jobs, creating some of the funniest and most heartwarming moments in the film. The action sequences are top-notch, but it's the characters, the humor, and the underlying emotional weight of the story that makes Lethal Weapon a true classic. Chapter 5. Predator, The Hunt is On. Back to Arnold, but this time he's facing a threat from beyond the stars in 1987's Predator. Schwarzenegger leads an elite team of commandos sent to rescue hostages, but they soon find themselves hunted by a technologically advanced alien trophy hunter. The action is brutal, the tension is palpable, and the final showdown between Schwarzenegger and the Predator is nothing short of iconic. Chapter 6. RoboCop, Crime. 1987's RoboCop is a cyberpunk masterpiece, a film that's as thought-provoking as it is action-packed. Peter Weller delivers a powerful performance as Alex Murphy, a Detroit cop brutally murdered and resurrected as RoboCop, a cybernetic law enforcement officer. The action is brutal, the social commentary is sharp, and the film's themes of identity, justice, and the nature of humanity continue to resonate today. Chapter 7. Commando Schwarzenegger Unleashed. This 1985 Schwarzenegger vehicle is a non-stop thrill ride from beginning to end, packed with explosions, one-liners, and enough firepower to arm a small country. Schwarzenegger plays John Matrix, a retired Special Forces operative forced back into action when his daughter is kidnapped. Commando is a guilty pleasure, a film that embraces its absurdity and delivers exactly what it promises. Explosions, one-liners, and Schwarzenegger mowing down bad guys with reckless abandon. Chapter 8. Mad Max 2, The Road Warrior Fury on Four Wheels. Hold on to your steering wheels because we're entering the wasteland with 1981's Mad Max 2, The Road Warrior. Mel Gibson returns as Max Rockatansky, a former lawman reduced to a shell of a man in a world gone mad. The film is a symphony of car chases, explosions, and brutal hand-to-hand combat, all set against the backdrop of a desolate Australian outback. Chapter 9. Beverly Hills Cop, laughter and lead. 1984's Beverly Hills Cop proved that you could mix laughs with thrills and still deliver a satisfying action experience. Eddie Murphy explodes onto the screen as Axel Foley, a Detroit cop who heads to Beverly Hills to investigate the murder of his friend. The car chases are exciting, the shootouts are intense, and Murphy brings his trademark charisma and physical comedy to every scene. Chapter 10. Top Gun flying high on 80s energy. 1986's Top Gun captures the spirit of the 80s with a killer soundtrack and breathtaking aerial photography. Tom Cruise embodies the cocky confidence of Maverick, a talented but reckless pilot pushing the limits at the Top Gun Naval Fighter Weapons School. Top Gun is pure 80s escapism, a film that celebrates ambition, pushes boundaries, and never takes itself too seriously. The 1980s gave us action heroes we still look up to, larger than life, yet undeniably human. These films weren't just about explosions and one-liners. They reflected the anxieties and fears of a generation facing down the Cold War, economic uncertainty, and a rapidly changing world. But through it all, these films offered hope, escape, and reminded us that even in the darkest of times, there's always a hero willing to stand up and fight. Which of these blockbusters is your favorite? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe to EMGO TV 1 for more cinematic deep dives. Until next time, keep the action alive.